Welcome back to Passion to Reality. I'm your host, Matt Liller. If you've been here for the last few episodes, you know we've been slowly building kind of a roadmap for turning creativity into something real, a sustainable career. In episode 14, we talked about what it actually takes to go full-time, and not in just a motivational poster kind of way, but in the here's what this lifestyle really looks like kind of way. And in episode 15, we looked at why right now, 2025, might actually be the best time in history to become a creator, thanks to what research are calling the creator middle class. But that brings up the next logical question. If the opportunity is real and we know it's possible, what does the journey actually look like? Because when you look at creators you admire, people like Marques Brownlee, MKBHD, or Emma Chamberlain, or Ali Abdaal, or even mid-tier creators pulling in a solid income, it can really feel like they jumped from posting for fun to running a business just overnight. But that's not how it happens. From what I've seen, both personally and from talking with other creators, there's a pattern to it, a kind of progression. And once you see it, you can better understand where you are, what to focus on, and what might be coming next. I call it the 3 phases of a creator career. Phase 1 is the experiment phase. Every creator starts here. It's the messy beginning, the late night editing videos that almost nobody watches, the awkward on-camera energy, and the trial and error thumbnails that make no sense in hindsight. It's also where you're learning everything, not just about the platforms, but really about yourself. You start asking, what do I actually want to say? What kind of content feels natural to me? Am I doing this because I love it, or just because I think I should? The experiment phase is where you build the foundation, not in audience numbers, but in skill. You end up teaching yourself scripting, lighting, storytelling, pacing, sound design, 100 tiny things that most viewers never notice, but that really separate amateurs from professionals. And here's the thing. This phase is really supposed to feel uncertain, and I think that's kind of the point. Mr. Beast's early videos, completely different from what he does now. He spent years experimenting, challenges, gaming clips, random stunts until something finally clicked. Ali Abdaal made 100 YouTube videos before even hitting 1,000 subscribers. But those early reps built the habits that later helped him scale to millions. So if you're in this phase, I think the only metric that really matters is output. The goal isn't to go viral, it's really to find your rhythm. Every creator I look up to has gone through a long season where almost no one cared about their work, but they kept posting anyway. And from what I can tell, the ones who move out of phase 1 are the ones who keep showing up long enough for momentum to finally find them. And once your style starts to feel consistent, your message feels clearer, and you've built a small but engaged audience, that's where you move into phase 2. Phase 2 is the growth phase. This is where things start to feel real. You've found your footing, you've stopped posting random ideas, and you've started creating intentionally. Your content has a clearer through line. Your audience knows what to expect from you. And from what I've noticed, this is also the phase where the algorithms kind of start to notice you. And not because you've cracked some secret code, but because you've finally become consistent. Over the last few years, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have shifted their priorities. They focus really heavily on viewer satisfaction now, which means they favor creators who can hold attention, deliver value, and bring people back. So while in 2019, the game was all about clickbait and shock value, in 2025, it's about retention and trust. If you can keep people watching and returning week after week, you're in a really strong position. The growth phase is often where creators hit their first real milestones, like 1,000 YouTube subscribers, 10,000 Instagram followers, the first brand deal email, and maybe even the first $100 of ad revenue. But this is also, at least from my own experience, where the emotions start to swing. With growth comes pressure. You start to feel like you have to top your last video, you refresh analytics way too often, and you catch yourself comparing your growth to others. And that's usually the point when burnout starts to creep in. You start optimizing every creative decision for performance, and you really lose sight of why you started. And if you find yourself there, take a breath. The growth phase isn't about perfection, it's really about learning to play the long game. And what seems to help is building systems, like batching content, using a calendar, and setting creative boundaries so the process doesn't just eat you alive. It also helps to experiment with cross-platform growth. For example, if you're building on YouTube, you might try turning your best long-form ideas into shorts or reels or TikToks, and that's one of the fastest ways to increase discoverability right now, especially since YouTube Shorts reportedly see over 70 billion with a B, views per day. And maybe most importantly, this is the time to start building your community layer. Reply to comments, invite feedback, and maybe even start an email list, because in the next phase, those early relationships really start to matter more than anything else. When your content is working, your systems are in place, and you've built a small but loyal base, that's when you start moving into phase 3. And phase 3 is the ownership phase. Now, full transparency, I'm not in this phase yet, but from watching the creators I really admire and respect, this is when it looks like they start to think differently. It's when they realize the most valuable thing they've built isn't their content, but it's their audience relationship. And at this point, creators start asking questions like, how can I serve this audience beyond free content? What products or services would genuinely help the audience? And how can I protect what I'm building from platform changes? Because algorithms can always shift, but a direct relationship through email, membership, or your own site, that's ownership. The 2024 Linktree Creator Report found that over 45% of full-time creators now earn most of their income off platform through products, brand deals, courses, or consulting. And that number was only 28% in 2021, which really shows how the creator middle class is being built through diversification. So in this phase, the focus seems to shift from growth to stability. That might mean launching a product, a Notion template, a guide, or maybe even a coaching program, or it might mean negotiating recurring partnerships instead of one-offs. Some creators even start building teams, like hiring editors or managers so they can focus on higher level work. And from what I can tell, this is also when creators finally find more leverage. Instead of being stuck on the content hamster wheel, they really start building assets that work for them, things that generate income even when they're not actively posting. And the beautiful part is, you don't really need millions of followers to get here. You just need trust. Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans Ideas, which was first published all the way back in 2008, has really never felt more accurate. If you can earn the trust of even a small core audience, you can really build something sustainable. And that's really the heart of this phase, turning attention into impact and impact into income. But here's the catch. These phases aren't perfectly linear. You'll probably circle back to them a few times. Every time you pivot to a new platform or try a new format, you'll probably find yourself back in phase 1 for a bit, which is experimenting, learning, refining, and I think that's actually a good thing. One mistake I've seen creators make is thinking they've made it once they hit a certain number. But in reality, the most successful people treat their careers like a cycle, which is constantly learning, evolving, and reinventing. So, where are you right now? If you're experimenting, posting, learning, testing, you're in phase 1. Focus on showing up. Forget the numbers for now. If you're seeing traction and trying to scale, that's phase 2. Focus on systems and sustainability. And if you're monetizing and building something that lasts, that's phase 3. Focus on ownership and long-term strategy. Each phase does have its own challenges, but together they form a roadmap that nearly every creator walks, whether they realize it or not. Here's the big takeaway. Turning your passion into a career isn't about luck. It's really just about progression. It's about showing up when no one's watching, improving when people are watching, and eventually owning what you've built. The creator economy isn't just about going viral anymore. It's about building a business around the value you create. I'm figuring this out right alongside you, but every step forward, every post, every small improvement is moving us all closer to turning our passion into reality. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.